What is happening, guys? Welcome back to Redbeard's Garage. On today's episode, we're going to be continuing on with the Harley-Davidson cross cart that we're building for Quantum Machinery Group to take to SEMA in Las Vegas. Now, we only had 3 weeks from start to finish on this chassis to get a rolling chassis off to North Carolina to ship off to Vegas for the SEMA show. So on the last episode, we did the rear trailing arm suspension. On this episode, we're going to do the front end, the double A arm suspension, and the spindles, brakes, and the front shocks. So enjoy the video, and we'll see you at the end.
All right, guys, I'm getting ready to start making the spindles for the Harley buggy for SEMA. This is the spindle we're using, and I'm getting ready to turn the actual material to make the shaft piece that goes through here and bolts the hub onto the spindle itself. I'm starting out with 1 15/16 machine steel. I'm going to take you through the process of machining a stub shaft that this will go on, and then it'll get welded to the actual spindle itself on the cart. So hang on and enjoy. I'm gonna throw some chips.
Alright guys, so we're back on the 883 cart. Now we have to do the front suspension. We did a 15 degrees of approach angle, so that means our A-arms are laid back 15 degrees, because if we was to come up to a stump, a log, or whatever, we don't want our A-arms just going straight up and down, because then the tires would have to be forced up and they would want to actually collapse back and bend your tabs. So in high speed, you definitely don't want that. If you're blasting through a trail, come up to a small stick and hit it, you want your suspension to naturally go in a backwards motion. So we did 15 degrees because I thought that seemed like a good number. That's what I did on my personal buggy, and it was really good. So have all of our components sitting out here. We had Dave go on the lathe that you just saw and turn down this spindle bolt. Now, what's awesome about this is a Miata factory front hub. This bolt he made, it fits in there super nice. Dave is a wizard on that lathe, baby. And we tapped it, or sorry, put a die on it for 3/4 inch fine thread. So now we have a castle nut in there. We can use the Miata's original grease cap just to make sure no dirt gets in here. It's gonna be super nice. We'll talk about the brakes later on, how we're gonna do the brakes, but that is a super sweet spindle bolt, super beefy, and also we'll have double shear on our spindle. We'll be able to run it through the front of our spindle as well as the back and get double the amounts of weld and strength to it. We have all of our tabs. Moto Mule made us these tabs back in the day. Huge shout out to Moto Mule. Thank you, sir. Kiss you on the mouth if I could see you. And we also have a bunch of Heim joints from QS Components. This is the only Heim joints we've ever used. We have some chromoly ones and some standard ones, because we are actually out of the chromoly 3/4 inch ones, but these will be plenty strong enough, and we'll probably swap them out to the chromoly ones after SEMA. So we got a 3/4 inch Heim joint here at the end where it'll hook to our spindle, and we're going to use 5/8 high misalignment spacer. What that does is gives us more rotation out of our Heim joint. If we didn't have this, it would stop there, so we got that much more rotation. So you definitely want to use about a 3/4 out there so you get enough travel. So we're going to actually run our Heim joints sideways like I did my original buggy. I've ran them like this and like this. The only downside to running them like this is you're limited on travel, but you're unlimited steering. If you run them like this, you're unlimited travel, but you're limited on steering. It's vice versa. So we're going to run these up and down so we have unlimited, you know, basically theoretically unlimited suspension travel. So that'll be super nice. So we're going to start building this up. We've got this mocked up exactly the same distance as this rear setup is, so we know our tires will be dead in line. We won't have any poke on the front or the rear. We got this clamped down. Another beauty about these Sigma weld tables, makes your life a lot easier. It makes you a better fabricator overnight for sure. I still suck. Dang it. So we got everything marked out. We're going to start building a set of A-arms for this side, copycat it for the other side, and start the spindle. So follow us on this journey. So we got our A-arms prepped, like our A-arm tabs. Now when we build our jig, we can use this same piece of steel with 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch nuts welded in to set our jig out. Now it does look like one's in front of the other if you look at how it's lined up, but actually if you put a straight edge, this heim joint falls dead in line with that heim joint, and that's not particularly important. You can have them forward or back from each other, but I like them to be you know, all nice and fancy pants. So now I can measure, find out how long my lower A-arm needs to be to, I want the center of my heim joint to line up with that mark. So I want that to basically be my spindle. And this is going to be all 3/16 steel, which is overkill for sure. You could build it out 8 if you boxed it up enough, but I'm going to do 3/16 because I'll never have to worry about it. So lower A-arm will be short or longer than the upper A-arm to give us kingpin angle. Kingpin angle is going to get you away from bump steer. So if your heim joints out here was dead in line, you're going to have horrendous bump steer, which means if you hit a rock with this side and it flexes this suspension, it's going to want to pull your steering wheel that way. My buggy, you can absolutely drive it through the woods with no hands on the steering wheel and it'll continue to go straight because I've got accurate kingpin angle and all that geometry is right. We're going to do the same thing for this buggy. So let's get to forming up our jig, finding out our links, and get this thing built. Now we can use this jig to find out what our bends need to be to get to this. I did take and put a piece of 1 1/4 on the lathe and turn down the inside so it sleeves in, because normally it's just a shimmy buoy from fitting. So now we have this, and we can, I also like to do rose welds, plug welds, whatever you want to call it, drill like a 1/4 inch hole through it, because I've seen like Super ATV heim joints rip at the welds on their A-arms. So that's just a secondary safety measure to know that my heim joints isn't, you know, under a wreck. I'd rather my A-arm bend and still be able to drive it out of the woods instead of rip off. So we can weld this to this after I clean it up and drill my hole. Bolt that up. We can put a little 3/8 bolt to level that out, and then we can build them into it. And this is, I always build this a little longer than I need it. You can always cut off, can add. Actually, you can add, you got a welder, but you know, I'd rather not add.
It looks nicer if you don't have to add.
Yeah. And we're thinking the shock is going to mount somewheres in this vicinity. Sweetwater, Tennessee. That is my vicinity. And then I can build a piece of 1 1/4 flat stock, 1/4 inch thick, across to cap this off and notch it into the A-arms on each side. Make it like a T-boy if I want to. I can drill some holes in it, you know, make it look nice, whatever I want to do. So I'll get this done. You guys eat a bowl of cereal or something.
Seems ultra.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough angle.
Using an 1/8 inch welding rod to space this up because you don't want to set the caliper all the way on the rotor. It'll start eating in the pins in there that hold your pads. Learned that the hard way back in the day. Ready? These calipers are off of a GSXR, like an 08 model, and these are a pretty simple way of mounting. The earlier models have like ears that hang down and you got to build something up to them. So I think these are a little bit nicer to mount. It's like bolts, because these bolt right to the forks. The forks would have had some ears on them, and this is off of a bike that we got all the parts off of, including the engine. These are pieces of 1-inch go-kart axle, so we use the keyway to put these 1/4 inch. It's got a 1/4 inch keyway, so we use 1/4 inch gussets. It slid right in the keyway. Use what you got. We've used that axle so far on the Deuce, this, several times. Can't remember what all we've used on, but a lot. Let me go back a little bit. Right there. Alright, go ahead and hit it. So these are 1-inch go-kart axles. Dave had tapered them so I could get a Fat Daddy bead in there, and then he made this little lip on there that sets in the caliper. And it's crazy that Miata rotors, we're using the rear rotors off of like a 91 Miata. We thought we was going to have to shave some material off of them, but these calipers fit right over the factory rotors. So when he wears brakes out, he'll buy GSXR pads and Miata rotors, rear rotors for the front. Rear brake rotor, no clue. Suzuki motorcycle, I think. We'll have to figure that out.
It's a GSXR 650.
Is it? No, it's Suzuki, but we found the wheel at a junkyard a long time ago. So the rear brake caliper is also going to be the earlier models of the same caliper. So good luck, whoever gets this buggy. Good luck. That is? Yeah. Well guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you liked the whole build process of this 883 cross cart. When you're watching this, we'll actually be in Vegas at SEMA. The buggy's already gone at this point of me editing the video. It kind of gets frantic at the end of a build like this because we only had 3 weeks total to start this buggy and get as much of it possible done to go to SEMA. Now, this buggy was never meant to be powder coated for SEMA. It was just, we like to give ourselves goals that are pretty much unreachable. And so it went as a bare metal chassis, which you'll see in the last episode. The next episode is the last video you'll see before you see the SEMA content. So hope you guys are enjoying the build. I know this is the best buggy, hands down, I've ever built. It's super awesome to have all the parts laid out in front of you and just be able to build something without money holding you back. The only thing that really held us back was time. Man, if you could buy time off the internet, that'd be real nice. But let me know what you think about this chassis. Suspension is going to work great. There's a lot of tweaking when we get back from SEMA. A lot of stuff we had to just get done so it could be rolled and steered. Yeah, one more episode and you guys will see it at SEMA, and hopefully you guys can come out and see us at the Quantum booth. We're going to be in the fabrication side, welding and fabrication, so love to come down and see. We'll be there every day, so if you're in Vegas or around the Vegas area, we hope some way you can get in the SEMA, sneak in however, and come and see us. But thank you, huge shout out to Quantum for helping us to be able to do this build. Awesome opportunity. And also from Centurial Tools, they was a huge help because I didn't have an extra set of hands a lot of times, and using their magnetic tools was massive. Their centerline tool, their notching tools. Make sure to check out all the links for all the parts and those Centurial tools in the video's description. Guys, thank you so much for watching, supporting, and showing us all the love over these years. It's amazing that we're at this point to go to SEMA. Some people didn't believe in us, but you know what I mean? We made it happen. Thank you guys so much for watching. We love you, and God bless.